Welcome, Unity Bay Area, Houston, and all of those joining us online in all the ways that you join us at this time as we're live streaming and others. We're so grateful for each one of you bringing your energy, your light, your presence, and helping bring this unified field together where we claim and know the truth of our Christ consciousness, of our divine remembrance. And we are so blessed to have Charley Thweatt with us today. And we were discussing this morning, it's been 3.5 years since Charley's joined us, so we're so grateful to have him back, and back with a live audience. I know, how fun that is. And what we want you to do is to join us this morning, as we do each week, in our affirmation. And if you will, invite you to look at our affirmation today, which is, I live in harmony with divine order. Let's take that into our heart and into our soul. And let us affirm together, I live in harmony with divine order. Yes, I do. And I know you do too. And as we begin this time of service, we ask that you share us with the social media of your choice or multiple social media sites. Get the word out about unity. So many people on our planet are awakening right now. They're thirsty for a message that we teach here at Unity with the 5 principles. So, and as we do, let's rise and join Charley, and he's going to introduce us to some of his music today, which you may have heard through the years, but you'll get to know it in a powerful way. So rise and join us with Charley right now.
Thank you. So this is called You See Your Way Clear, and all the lyrics are up there, so just join me as you get it. You see your way clear, one step at a time. Just know that you're here. Just know that you're here for the love in your life. You see your way clear, one step at a time. Just know that you're here for the love in your life. For the love in your life. For the love in your life. Get a backbeat going like this. I see my way, we see, I see every time. Just know that we're here, just know that we're here for the love in our lives. We see our way clear, one step at a time. Just know that we're here for the love in our lives, for the love in our lives, for the love in our lives, for the love in our lives. For the love in our lives, for the love in our lives, for the love in our lives, for the love in our lives. I see my way clear, one step at a time. Just know that I'm here, just know that I'm here for the love in my life. I see my way clear, one step at a time. Just know that I'm here for the love in my life, 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 for the love in my life. And that's true.
So grateful to have you back, Charley.
Thank you.
And this is the time when we begin our service with the affirmation that we use each time, which is to acknowledge this one presence and one power in our lives. And so we are going to affirm together. Jean, can you give us that? There we go. Our opening affirmation together. And this is our first principle that we teach in Unity. So join me. Take this again into your heart, into your soul, into your being, and allow this to vibrate a frequency into not only your own cells, your own essence, but out into the world together. There is one presence and one power in the universe and in me, God, the good omnipotence. Yes, indeed. And at this time, as we begin our service, I have to go back and I'm supposed to follow my script. We want to talk about that prayer is the basis for unity. And we know that unity is founded upon the principle of prayer, of holding that sacred prayer consciousness. And so we honor our prayer chaplains that are with us today and every week and every day are praying and upholding the consciousness of this ministry and all the prayer requests that we receive. So we're deeply grateful for those prayers. Today, Trish Weir is our prayer chaplain for the day. She has on the gold shawl, and so is Dawn Davis. And they will be available also following the service for individual prayer. But please know our prayer chaplains are not just here on Sundays for you. They are here. Your prayer requests that come into our prayer box there in the back, we take those to heart. We lift those. We hold those. We send those forward to Silent Unity so that they are prayed over not only here but for 30 days at Silent Unity 24/7. And so we honor that prayer has, I guess, empowered our lives all along. How many have had prayer results in your life? Okay, everybody. Awesome. We knew that was the case. And so we do want to acknowledge that as a basis for unity. And now it is time for us to open with prayer. So let's just take a moment and touch into the sacred space within. To breathe in and let it go. As we anchor ourselves fully in our divine essence and our human form, we say thank you. Thank you, beloved Spirit, for being the presence and the power and the life within our body temple. We bless every cell of our body for resonating with its God essence, with its Christ consciousness, in wholeness and in health. We call forth the power of this prayer to unify our thoughts and our words and our actions with the divine message of our soul, with the impulse of the divine through us, that we may live according to the highest calling of our being, that we may bring forth an awareness here and now, that we are one with Sacred Spirit. We are one with whatever name and knowing and understanding you have of God. Just feel that for a moment. The power of that vibration and frequency that sings its song through you, that resonates through you in a way that lifts the world. It begins by lifting your own thoughts, your own awareness, to get out of our own way and allow Spirit to guide our lives. We dedicate this time, this service, this moment, to the celebration of life expressing through each of us. And we are grateful, grateful, grateful to feel the power of that presence, to see its actions in our lives, to experience its beauty and magnificence in our living sanctuary and in our sanctuary here and in our individual lives. We feel our connection to all beings, all creation, and we are grateful, grateful, grateful. And so it is. Amen. And yes. So at this time, I believe that I'm supposed to be doing announcements. Announcements. Did y'all do that when you were in school? Yeah. So we want you to know that all links to participate can be found in your Sunday e-bulletin that comes out at 7 a.m. on Sundays. And for our in-person folks, there is a sign-up sheet over here and activities that you can find out about in the information table right over here. We also want to acknowledge today that we have Charley Thweatt CDs, because you're going to want to take some of his music and message home with you because it's so powerful. And he has many, many songs through the years that he has created that speak to the soul. Access to our updated newsletter and bulletins are easily found on our website, www.unitybayareahouston.org. You realize that what changed for us was instead of at unitybayarea.org, it changed to unitybayareahouston.org. So we invite you to find that website, click on the orange update button. It'll take you to a page to sign up for our e-newsletter. Or you can always call our office at 281-554-2450 and leave a message requesting event details. Ryan or one of us will always get back with you. First, let me say thank you to our dedicated AV team back there. Just take a moment to turn around and say thank you. You know, it takes a team to offer both our inline and our external streaming services, and we are grateful that we have an incredible team. If you are ready to step into a new way to serve and be a part of making our Sundays happen, please see Carol Curtis. Carol, wave back there. She's standing up waving. We just acknowledge Carol also just became a new foster parent. Congratulations, Carol. So after church, see her or click in the button in the bulletin. Your support is truly welcome. Lastly, we began last Sunday our VFW Holiday Food Drive. So this happens throughout the month, and we are supporting the veterans by providing food that gets put into food baskets that goes out to those in need. So if you would like to provide, there is a list, there are small lists available on the poster here you can take home or to your grocery store and buy goods and bring them in, and we'll collect those over here on the table. And it really is something that we feel is very powerful that goes out both for Thanksgiving and Christmas. They get food baskets and support their families and their loved ones. So thank you for shopping often and sharing big. and at this point, we have had a low response to our Thanksgiving feast idea. So what we would like to know is we want to check in with you that are here. You know, we didn't do it last year because of COVID, but traditionally before that, we've always had an amazing Thanksgiving feast on the Sunday before Thanksgiving following the service. We set up the tables. We might set some outside for those that would prefer to be outside. We have a potluck experience. We bring all kinds of different great foods. Now, I know there are those that are comfortable with that and those that are not, but we want to get an idea, do we really want to do this or not? It would be scheduled for the 21st, following the Sunday service, but right now we only have 2 people signed up. So if we want to do it, we want to decide, do we have enough interest to actually bring that together? How many of you are actually interested, willing to be present, and participate in a Thanksgiving feast? Let's see a show of hands. Okay, about half of you are. It's enough that I would say, let's do it. You know, if that many of you and others that feel called to participate, we're trying to make ways to find that as safe as possible. Everybody wear gloves to get the food, you know, and have tables outside for those, as long as we can put tents up, and different ways that we can make this as festive as possible. I know we're ready to gather together as a family again and experience the love and the community that we have here. So we will move forward. We would ask that you sign up. There's 2 options. There is a sign-up sheet in physical form right here on the table. You can sign up and say, yes, I'd like to bring a vegetarian dish. Yes, I'd like to bring a turkey. Yes, I'd like to bring whatever. And there are options. Also, on the e-newsletter, there is a button to click. There's a sign-up genius, and again, it gives options of what kind of food you'd like to bring. So you can sign up to say, I'll bring a salad, or I'll bring a side dish, or whatever you would choose. But we're excited. There we go. Oh, maybe we accidentally hit something. I thought I maybe hit the mute over here. Today is our church. We do have just a couple more announcements, so thank you for bearing with me. We have our church membership meeting at noon. This is available both in person and on Zoom, so whichever way you would like to participate, we're going to make sure it's easy for everybody to be engaged. It is an important meeting, and we have sent out emails and letters to everybody through email to help make sure we're getting you invited. It is an important conversation about our mortgage and where we are in our finances here. As we know, these are unprecedented times, so we look forward to you coming and asking questions and getting engaged and offering your input and voting with us on the next steps for this ministry, and so we're grateful for your participation. Now, this is the time we join together in sharing our vision, our mission, and our values here at Unity. Together, our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of a shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is to inspire minds, awaken hearts, and empower lives through the teachings of Jesus Christ and other expressions of universal truth. In all that we are and all that we live, we value unconditional love, connection, authenticity, inclusivity, trust, and compassion. And we are living relevant spirituality now. And I can just affirm that from all the messages I receive back about lives that are transformed by their connections here in this community. And I am grateful because that's where the rubber hits the road. Are we truly reaching into hearts and minds and beings to transform lives? So I thank you because you're all a part of that. And now, it is time for another song. So Charlie, come on back, and I think he's bringing us a classic.
It is a classic.
Yes, we will. Okay, you're good. Right now we're going to sing.
We're going to sing.
I love it.
This is a classic. I wrote it the first few months I started this career. And this is called You're an Angel. There it is. So normally I do this where I invite people to stand and hold hands and look in each other's eyes. I think in this COVID era we're not going to do that. We're not going to sing in each other's faces. But would you stand and we'll just kind of sway and feel your angel selves. This angel is a great metaphor for that being of light, that spiritual essence that you are. So join me as you get. You're an angel. You're a being of light, you're an angel, and I know that I'm right. You're an angel, bringing love to everyone, and it's yours to give, and in the giving comes the fun. We are angels, we are angels, we are beings of light. We are angels, and we know that we're right. We are angels, bringing love to everyone, and it's ours to give, and in the giving comes the fun. I'm an angel, I'm an angel, I'm a being of light, I'm an angel. And I know that I'm right. I'm an angel, bringing love to everyone, and it's mine to give. And in the giving comes the fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
You just got to watch me every moment. You never know what I'll do. All right. So I got so excited by all the angels in my midst. And at this time, we want to invite everyone that is here for us as a guest and to acknowledge, first of all, that each of you, whether you're here for the first time, for the millionth time, that your presence is precious to us. Who you are makes a difference. And so we thank you for those that are new, checking Unity Bay Area Houston out, those that are returning, that haven't been for a while, that are coming back. We are so delighted to feel your presence and welcome you back with us as well. And if you would like more information about our community, see an usher. We have a wonderful little welcome packet and an opportunity to sign up to get on our e-newsletter list. And it comes out on Thursday evening and Sunday morning, to keep you informed of the many happenings here at Unity, because we're a happening place. Have you noticed? Yeah, you should have heard. Thursday I had a meeting with the mayor and other clergy in the area and all the different clergy, and the mayor was talking about how awesome our labyrinth is. So he calls me the hippie minister, and but he does it with such love. He also told him about how wonderful my prayers were at the city council or the different chamber meetings, because we include everybody. And it was beautiful to hear him acknowledge his experience with our community and how beautiful he feels our labyrinth is and how wonderful it was to walk on that labyrinth. And, you know, that's especially meaningful to us because I think we have some of the last pictures of him before he lost one of his legs. legs when he was leading the walk around our labyrinth. And it's really meaningful and precious. So I think we sometimes don't understand the value and power of what we bring out into the world by creating this sacred space, by being who we are. And I want you to take a moment, put your hand on your heart, and acknowledge yourself and your presence here, whether it's your first time, whether it's your umpteenth, as we said, to know that you make a difference by who you are being. So now we'd like to welcome all those that are with us for the first time or returning, haven't been back for a while. Let us know who you are so we can say welcome back or welcome. I know we have one new, being brave. Thank you so much. I know it's hard to put those hands up. And others I know that are back, and I want to just say welcome. We're so glad. Let us share our welcoming blessing with one another and our guests. We bless you. We love you. Wait, start over. I messed up. See, I said you got to watch me. I just came back from Sedona. I'm kind of flying high. All right, together. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. Yes, we do. And we are grateful. And it is time at this time for us to have our daily word. And I believe Roger Moorfield is going to give our daily word. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge Roger is one of our board members, our vice president on our board. And Roger has just had a celebration of an illustrious career, a career at St. Thomas University for how many years? 40? 42 years. And I just think that deserves some acknowledgement and love. Thank you, Roger. I'll put that back in there for you.
Thank you. Well, I got caught in a traffic jam the other day, and just boom, no movement at all. And I'm thinking, well, I need to get home. I'm going home from work. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Could have thought that. I thought, I'll just try a different way. I thought, divine order. I'll see divine order in this. And the GPS says, estimated time in traffic, 13 minutes. So I said, okay, I've got 13 minutes to think about divine order. So I live in harmony with divine order. Life is in constant motion, even if that motion is imperceptible to me. When I feel, I need my glasses. I was going to try to wing it. Okay. When I feel stuck in place or impatient with my progress, I consider the gradual yet orderly pattern of the seasons as they change. The single golden leaf I notice one day will become part of a blaze of color just a few weeks later. Well, at least in some parts of the country, that's true. The brisk chill in the morning air soon will lead to biting cold and snow. The first tender seedlings of spring will bring bright blooms and a verdant canopy, followed by the long, sultry days of summer. Little by little, one season turns into the next. My growth and understanding may happen in much the same way. Even if I don't notice changes day to day, my life is always in motion and in order. And from the book of James, chapter 2, verse 22, you see that faith was active along with his works, and faith was brought to completion by the works. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
So this song is we're going to use to lead into meditation. This song is called We Go Together. And while I sing this, I want you to think about we go together in two different ways. One, we go together like pieces of a puzzle. Is there a little bit of an echo in here? I'm not sure what to do, so I'll just keep talking. We go together like pieces of a puzzle. We fit together. And also we go together as a group forward in consciousness. So think of it in both ways. We're going together. No one's getting left behind, okay? So let's close our eyes. There'll be a place for you to sing. In fact, right now, here we go. We go together. We go together. We go together as one. Sing that again. We go together. We go together. We go together as one. In the beginning, there was God, and God is all there was. Then we divided up, yet we're still one because we go together. We go together. We go together. We go together as one. We go together. We go together. We go together as one. As I reach into all being, you are all a part of me. We can't fly without each other. When we get this, we'll be free. We go together. We go together. We go together as one. We go together. We go together. We go together as one. We go together.
Thank you, Charlie. And as we move into this time of meditation, there's more than one way to move through all the experiences of life. And we open ourselves to this quiet time, to this inner space, this inner realization that we are one. We are one with the infinite side of our nature. We are one with those here upon this planet, whether they fly or swim or crawl or slither, whether they walk upon this earth and believe a variety of things. We are one with all of creation, every rock and mineral and plant, with all the beauty and wonder of the celestial realms and the ancestors behind us. We are one as we are together in this field of consciousness, to be in the earth but not of it, to be on the earth but beyond any limitations we've agreed to in the past. We open ourselves right now to that inner awareness, that deep experience of oneness, to just gentle your mind. Allow it to quiet and soften your eyes behind your closed lids if you choose. Feel the wonder of your own body temple, the brilliance and intelligence of the universe that operates as you. Know the truth of the Christ consciousness, the divine awareness that you are, that your origins are far beyond just this earth plane, that we are eternal beings living in this now. We gentle away any tensions in our body, and we allow our heart to expand wide open, to say yes to the beauty and wonder of this divine connection, of the awareness of our oneness. We say, yes, I'm willing to know and feel and experience and realize this as a truth of my being. Every part of me begins to relax more deeply, every organ in my body, every system and structure. And there is a flowing energy moving through me, the light body igniting the remembrance and gentling away doubts or fears or thoughts of separation. As we begin to realize this, we turn within to that place where we know, we commune, we feel the power of this presence. We connect with our oneness and allow it to inform our being in the quiet, in the silence, in the now. From this place of internal freedom, we remember wholeness. We remember joy. We are set free to live into the fullness of our divine nature as a human being. Notice that it's a human being, not a human doing. And we recognize that from the being space, all our doing is informed. All our actions and our words and our thoughts are informed by this divine connection, by our oneness with all that is. We recognize and give this truth power to move us forward in oneness, in joy, and in harmony. Divine order has its way this day in me. Let us know this truth and be set free. I invite you to return your awareness here and now to this space, this time, where we open our hearts and our minds as we speak these words. We send forth this vibration of our Lord's Prayer through an Aramaic translation. Together, beloved oneness, breathing life of all, holy is our essence. Create your reign of unity now. Your one desire acts with ours and vibrates light to form. Fulfill this day all need for bread and insight. Forgiveness releases us, and we remember wholeness. We are free from inner and outer deception and walk your path with joy. You are the power of these truths and unite my words, thoughts, feelings, and actions through this prayer. In gratitude, my heart knows it is so, and so it is. Amen. And yes.
What a great prayer. My God. Okay. So this song is called When You Sing Your Song. And it's about really stepping into what is your gift to give. When you sing your song, there's a power in the wind that will sail you home to the peace you know within. When you sing your song, all of nature will join in to bless you in your mission here on earth, to help you in your service here on earth. When you sing your song, you can feel the rising tide, lifting all things up, and there's nowhere left to hide. When you sing your song, you become alive inside, to bless you in your mission here on earth, to help you in your service here on earth. So you ask the rising tide and the power in the wind, and you know that there's no way you could ever fail. And you call upon your heart and God who lives within, and know that there's no way you could ever fail. You know that there's no way you could ever fail. When you sing your song, there's a power in the wind that will sail you home to the peace you know within. When you sing your song, all of nature will join in to bless you in your mission here on earth, to help you in your service here on earth. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. All right. Well, good morning. Is it? We're almost an hour into this service. I'm just starting speaking. This is great. You guys like long services? I'll try and make my talk extra long. How's that? Yeah. Well, it's great to be back. And I don't know if you know, I was supposed to be here a year and a half ago, March, for my 50th high school reunion over at Clear Creek High School here in League City. And so I grew up over in Seabrook, and that got put off, as you might have guessed. So we just had it yesterday. Yeah, this weekend. So I got to be here for my 51st high school reunion. So that was fun. I have had fried shrimp already. So that's good. So my talk today is called Living in Connection, and the subtitle, Are You on God's Wi-Fi? Okay, so living in connection, are you on God's Wi-Fi? I think that's a great metaphor, and we'll kind of delve into that in a few different ways. First, one of the things I want to reflect on is the song we used coming into meditation, We Go Together. For me, I just want to comment that in life, often if there are things that are almost too big for our human minds to conceive of, we create a myth, some kind of story that we can kind of at least get an essence, even though maybe it's too vast to explain. And for me, that song is attempting to address essentially how did we get here? And who are we? And just the big cosmic question. And so the myth that came to me, and maybe it works for you, or maybe you've already thought of it, is, the words were there. In the beginning, there was God, and God is all there was. And then in my mind, the story goes, God got kind of tired of being all there was and wanted someone to play with. And so we divided up, and here we are. So there's a good myth if you want to use that for who you're seeing in each other's eyes. So, so my talk today, living in connection. Are you on God's Wi-Fi? What I'm going to do is look at 3 different areas, and then I'm also bringing in little dueling quotes. So I'm going to bring in a quote from the Buddha, for each section, a quote from the Buddha and a quote from Mark Twain. So that should be fun. Get a little bit, 2 different perspectives. Okay. So the first area I want to look at is connection with self. And I'm going to call that our inner net. I-N-N-E-R, our inner net. How are we connected on the inner with who we are? And one of the I love this list. There's like 6 things: authenticity, compassion. I forget what they all were, but authenticity is big when it comes to how are you going to connect with yourself even more deeply on your inner net. So it's really what's true for you in your life. How can you be authentic with who you are? And actually, the song I just did is about that. When you sing your song, what was the gift? What are the gifts you've been given to share? Not what does someone else think you should be doing, or what do you think you should be doing, versus who are you authentically to bring? And as we get to know that inner self, then life starts to make more sense. My story is that I thought I was supposed to get a professional degree and work in an office and be like my dad. That was somebody else's thought, which I guess I adopted. Meanwhile, all through my childhood and into high school, I loved music, and it was my gift. It was who I was. But I get to college, you got to get a safe job, get a degree, look like a professional. And so I did that. I got my 5-year degree in architecture. And then I sat in a high-rise building on the West Loop in my cubicle on the 4th floor. And I did that for about 3 years until I kind of went, hey, this isn't it. It was safe. I had my benefits package, and I was dying a slow death. And I like to lovingly call that my slow death with benefits. Meanwhile, I got on my spiritual path, and so my music started to reflect that, and someone heard these songs I was writing and said, hey, I know some people who'd love to hear what you're writing. Have you ever heard of Unity? Have you ever been inside a Unity church? I said, no. So, well, there's one in Houston, check it out. And I walked in the door, it felt like immediate home. And again, that inner net, the inner self, recognized that. It's like, oh, this feels like home to me. This is my energy. And it was my little nascent place where I got up on stage, got afraid, did it anyway, and now I'm almost 40 years later. So here I am, because I followed my inner net. I want to say, well, it's literal in my case when I sing my song, but for you it may be something else. So what I've also noticed is if you're doing what brings you joy, don't you feel more in your power? And if you're doing something that doesn't bring you joy, do you feel very much in your power in doing that? Well, isn't that a great indication? I have a friend named Alan Cohen, a wonderful author. I used to tour for 7 years with him all around the country and beyond. And he would speak, and I would support with music. This is back in the 80s and 90s. And he has written many books. One of the book titles that sticks in my mind the most, sometimes a book title says it all, and this one is a great one. This title is Joy is My Compass. Let's say that together. Joy is my compass. Now, what is that saying? It's like follow that north arrow. If you're doing something that feels like drudgery and it's not you, I don't know. It's not a lot of. Is it time to take your power back and follow? What were you given to do? And in that song I sang, and you cannot fail. You cannot fail if you're doing what you're given to do. There will be a way to check into that inner net that knows. authenticity. Another word and kind of in that genre is integrity. When I grew up, you say, have integrity. As a kid, it was, don't lie, don't steal, tell the truth, all that. Well, how about telling the truth to yourself? Integrity is not just about how other people see you. It's about, are you in integrity with who you came to be? That's a good question. Keep connecting to that inner net. If you have a question, look for that. Where's my joy in this? What would bring me joy? Because if you're in your right place, that encourages other people to be in the right place. And actually, divine order is more likely to happen if you're following divine knowing and tuning into that inner net of who you are. So a Mark Twain quote that I think applies to this. And what I've noticed is often to do that, to follow your north arrow of joy, it might take a little courage, because our lives can have a certain inertia. If you're going this way, there's a tendency to just keep going this way, isn't there? So sometimes it takes a little courage to divert, to say, no, Dad, I'm going to do music. I just paid for a 5-year degree, he says. Actually, he was so supportive. He's an amazing man. So it takes some courage. And this Mark Twain quote, oddly, brings in courage and integrity. Listen to this. With courage, you dare to take risks. Have the strength to be compassionate. That was on the list. The wisdom to be humble. Courage is the foundation of integrity. Courage is the foundation of integrity. Sometimes it takes courage to really line up with where you need to be. And that's the integrity we're talking about. Telling the truth to yourself and then following it. Okay? So that's connection with self here on God's Wi-Fi. So the inner, I-N-N-E-R, net. Let's see. I got one more thing about this. Meditation is another way I've used to connect with my inner net. Now, I've been a meditator and then a not a meditator and then a meditator. So I've gone back and forth. And lately I've been doing it again. And one of the things I've noticed is that and maybe you've heard of this metaphor, it's like my wife hates meditating. She can't stand it because all I'm hearing is my thoughts. This isn't peaceful at all. Anybody else? This isn't peaceful. I said, well, the idea is to separate and so you see what's you and what's not you. Because I got news for you. You are not your thoughts. In case you hadn't heard that, you're not your thoughts. That's just stuff going by. And there are a lot of chaotic thoughts going by these days, aren't there? So sometimes meditation, they call it a practice because you're practicing for real life. So the great metaphor I've heard, and it works for me, is you picture like you're sitting along the banks of a stream, and there's the water going by, and on the surface of the water, occasionally there's a leaf going by, right? So the leaf is the metaphor for your thoughts. You're sitting in stillness, and there's stuff going by. So just think of those thoughts as leaves, and think of those leaves as thoughts, whichever way. And it's not you, it's just what's happening. And in that context, then you remember who you are sitting still on the banks. That's you. That's the stillness that you want to tune into, and not get lost in, I'm a leaf, I'm a leaf, I'm a leaf. Isn't that a relief? So I'm going to pull in a quote from the Buddha. And somebody asked the Buddha, they asked, what have you gained from meditation? You know what his answer was? Nothing. I'd say there's even a double meaning in that, isn't there? Nothing is maybe a good thing. He says, what have you gained? Nothing. However, let me tell you what I've lost. Anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, and then lastly, fear of old age and death. So I think he got to where he saw those are just leaves going by. And I'm happy to lose them. Happy to have those lost. A Course in Miracles said, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And And so there goes the unreal, the leaves. They're just thoughts. But who you are can't be threatened. This is nothing unreal exists, but who you are does, and that can't be threatened. We are spirit. That's not going anywhere. Okay? So let's move on to connection with others. So this is what I'm going to call our intranet, the intra between each other. So the way that I've found most deeply this experience is an exercise that I did years ago and I've done since, that I walked into a workshop once, and there was a couple leading it, and about halfway through this hour-long workshop, they said, okay, everybody find a partner and face your chairs. Just pick somebody and put your chairs so you're facing your partner. And then they said, okay, now for the next 20, and I didn't know anybody there, so I just picked some guy I'd never met. And then they said, for the next 20 minutes, just look in their eyes in silence and don't speak. And that's the whole exercise. And I thought, what? But, okay. And I'm going to tell you, so I looked in this guy's eyes, and I saw a lot of leaves going by. We'll put it that way. Like, just fear thoughts. He can see in my soul. I feel so exposed. All these, just like, when is this going to be over? Thought. And there were a few moments where I didn't have a thought, and I actually I kind of almost saw a quick soul-to-soul connection. Then that went away because I was thinking too much. So, but something about it intrigued me, and I ended up coming to more of those workshops. And the more I did this exercise, the more I had fewer thoughts, and I could kind of spot that part that was between the thoughts. I had someone say a great metaphor. Remember back when there was film, and there'd be frame. Think of those frames as the thoughts, but that little black strip between is the no thought part. So can you start to focus on the nothing part instead of all these pictures that are going through in your mind? Can you maybe find the space between those? For me, that was a kind of a cool metaphor. So, and the more I did that, the more I could just really find that soul connection and be at ease in it for myself to be seen. And then eventually, I started to have these really deep experiences of knowing our oneness. It wasn't just a thought I'd heard or read about, it was like happening. And that changed everything. So I've seen it. It's not just a nice thought that we are one. I've had the experience of being in it. Now I don't live in that constantly, but I can't go back to not having seen it and known it and experienced it. So this name on the building, Unity, it means something. I mean, all it's saying is oneness, isn't it? You walked into the Church of Oneness. And the more we know that and see that, then all these other attributes become innate and natural. Compassion, everything. That's just going to come out of knowing that we do go together. We go together. I was with my wife at a health food store in Kona a few years ago, and I walked up to the register, and there was a 23-year-old guy with long hair and a beard, and he was the checkout guy. And as I was approaching it with our little bag of groceries, our basket, I saw next to the register it said, Wisdom discount, 55 and over. I thought, oh, cool, I get a discount. So I walked up, and the guy's name was Ben. I said, hi, Ben, I'd like the wisdom discount, please. And he said, okay, but first, would you mind sharing some wisdom? Okay, and the idea came, well, something that's always been profound to me, Ben, is when I just stop and quiet and connect with someone in the eyes. And he loved it. And then you know what he did? He stopped and connected and looked me in the eyes, and we had a moment. It was beautiful. And I got my wisdom discount. So it can happen anywhere, and it's just to be able to know that and share it, and it's available. Just like with the mayor, you didn't expect the mayor anyway, you never know what's going to happen where you are. It's just a matter of being yourself, remembering that intra-net with each other, with people that you're just meeting. I wrote a song a number of years ago, and there's a verse in it that always affects me in this area of thinking, and the words go, take your time when you're being with people. What's another minute to you? We keep finding ourselves in each other. Make this time precious in all that you do. And the image that comes to my mind when I run those words through is Like, let's say it's in the morning, I've got 10 errands I've got to do. I got to get them done before noon, okay? I'm on errand number 4 at CVS, and I run into somebody I haven't seen in a year, and they want to talk. And what's on my mind is, I got 6 more errands. I got to go. And then I go, wait a second. Stop. Did I come to earth to run errands? Were you up in the spirit world before this life thinking, I can't wait to get to earth to run errands? No, we're here to be with each other. That's the gift. So let's remember that. Let's remember that. Be available for connection. So one more thing that I think is powerful around this is the art of listening. And I've led a lot of workshops, and one of the things, the way you put all that up for me? That's very sweet. I don't know anymore right now I'm going to talk about, but in workshops often I'll set it up where you have a partner and one person speaks for 3 minutes while the other just listens. And then you switch, the other person speaks while the first person just listens. And that's powerful, and it's also a gift. And I don't know if you've noticed you doing this, but often if I'm talking with someone, I'm listening, part of my mind is busy thinking what I'm going to say next so it looks like I'm smart. Looks like I'm paying attention. And the gift in that workshop setting is you don't have to. You can spend 100% of your time just actually hearing what they're saying, not sectioning off your mind, well, I got to remember what I'm going to say and what did they think. Just take it in, not preparing your next clever statement. And I led a workshop in San Diego. I remember it was memorable because there was one of the couples there. They'd been married for 20 plus years. And then we have a little sharing time after the exercise, and the husband stands up and says, I just had a miracle. For the first time in our 20-year marriage, I got to speak uninterrupted for 3 minutes. So it's both funny, but also it's important, isn't it? You know, sometimes when you're speaking with a friend, if they stop talking, you don't have to talk. Sometimes it's a gift to let there be silence. Maybe they're working something out and they're waiting for the next truth to bubble to the surface. And it's a gift not to keep jumping in. And that's part of how we stay connected too, is just that ability to truly hear and to give space in that intranet connection. So remember that when you're speaking with us, it's okay for there to be silence in a conversation. Just kind of sit with it. And if something wants to come up, you don't have to fill space. So Mark Twain, he says, and this totally relates to that, wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would rather have talked. Yeah. I'll say it again. Wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would rather have talked. Isn't that beautiful? And so the Buddha is speaking about connection with others, and he talks about how many of us have developed relationships with friends that are maybe closer than family. You know, sometimes that happens, or often. And the Buddha says, a trusted friend is the best relative. A trusted friend is the best relative. Okay, so lastly, we're going to look at connection, the third area, connection with God, with the divine. I'm going to call that the internet with an E. E-N-T-E-R. So we're entering into connection with God, okay, onto God's Wi-Fi. So a big way that happens for me is just opening to guidance. Just listening for, one of the biggest questions we probably all ask when we're up against the wall is, God, what would you have me do? What am I supposed to do in this situation? Help. Help is a good one-word way of saying it, but what would you have me do? I need guidance here. What direction do I go? And do you ever get an answer? And sometimes you hear words, sometimes it's a gut feeling, an intuition. And do you ever have something come, but then part of you goes, well, yeah, but I'm not sure. I mean, do you have another answer? Are there any other? I think if you're willing to ask, and if you start to get some sort of answer, maybe go with it. Or maybe it's just a step or two in this direction, and then you listen again, ask, and a little course correction as you go, maybe. But I think part of asking, if you're willing to listen, maybe be willing to then move with what you heard. And sometimes that's a bit of a challenge because we're not used to that. And you might have a thought, well, what if I stumble and fall if something goes wrong? Well, things are already going wrong. I mean, that's not going to be different. Just maybe you'd rather do it holding God's hand, at least taking a crack at it. So maybe just leap a little bit, that was it, courage that Mark Twain talked about, into being willing to listen and just, play with it, at least do some movement, get off the spot and move. I had kind of an amazing experience around this that happened when I was living in Houston. This was in the 80s. I was with a girlfriend named Rosie, and we were about to move to San Diego. And we'd been here a while, but we felt there was work and spiritual opportunities there. And so we drove out to San Diego, and we allowed ourselves 3 days to drive around to find a place to rent, and then we're going to come back and move. So we get out there, and we were staying with some friends that we had met in our previous travels there, and with a couple named Mark and Barbara. And so we start driving around looking for a rental. Couldn't find anything the first day. Couldn't find anything the second day. Just kind of hit wall, nothing was flowing. Third day, nothing. So we came back to Mark and Barbara's and just kind of shook our heads and went to sleep. And the next morning, we're going to wake up and eventually start driving back to Houston. And in that kind of half awake, half asleep state around 6 in the morning, I think they call it hypnagogic or whatever, that kind of not quite in either world. In that state, I was just waking up, and I heard a voice, clear as a bell, and it said, "Maureen has a listing for you." It's like an angel leaned over and just whispered in my ear, "Maureen has a listing for you." And I woke up and said, Rosie, I just heard a voice. Maureen has a listing for us. Oh, that's exciting. We'll have to call her when it's a reasonable hour. And so we waited a couple of hours and called up Maureen. Now, we knew that she was another new friend in the area. We knew she was a real estate agent. And so, Maureen, I just heard in a dream, and she's the kind of person to be open to this. Do you have a listing for us? And she says, I don't know what you're talking about. I am a real estate agent, but I sell condos to movie stars and millionaires. I don't have real rental listings. And we said, oh, okay, well, I don't know what that voice is for, but so we packed up and started driving back to Houston, and we were back here a couple of weeks, and I just said to Rosie, there's got to be something here. You don't just hear a voice and have it be for nothing. So I'm just feeling I need to call Maureen. Okay, let's call her. We get Maureen on the phone. She says, interesting you called. I just decided I'm going to move out of my rental condo, and it sounds like just what you're looking for. I'll tell my manager. I'll tell him to take care of it. And she helped us, and Maureen did have a listing for us. But it just took some patience and some time and keep following. So I took a step, but it didn't get me quite anywhere. And then 2 weeks later, I had this intuition, call Maureen. And I took that step, and Maureen had a listing. So you never know what's going to happen from just opening to guidance, of being available. And maybe you don't hear anyone here hear voices? No, you're not going to admit it. I hear them more than I used to, I'll put it that way. So that's being on God's Wi-Fi. And it is a dance. You're not going to always get the answer immediately, like 100% boom. Okay, I got guidance, let's go, everything works out perfectly. That's a Hallmark movie. That's not what we're living in. So I don't know if I've told this one before. Have you ever, people who want things to go right all the time, could you imagine you go into a movie theater and for the next 2 hours you're sitting there, and what if for the next 2 hours everything went right? Would that be interesting? No. So you kind of signed up for this, whether you know it or not. We need our little adventures, don't we? Okay, so it's all a dance. So I'm going to start to close this up. The Buddha said, in the end, only 3 things matter. So in that connection with God, with the divine, that enter into God, internet, on God's Wi-Fi, really in life, this is what matters. 3 things. How much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. So it's also about non-attachment. Can I flow in my life? Can I know that part of the guidance is knowing what's not important, what's not meant for me, what's okay? And can I let it go? And I let go of the Maureen thing, but then it came back around. But sometimes you don't know, or maybe it's later. You'll find out later. So letting go in that process. And Mark Twain had this to say about In the End, a little bit different angle. He said, "I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and I had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it." So that's just fun. I'm not sure it's on topic, but okay, so we're going to wrap up. So the internet, the connection with self by staying in integrity with your soul's purpose, and through knowing your center through meditation, not identifying with the leaves. How do I know who I am apart from the chaos? And remember, meditation is practice. It's practice for when things come up. So you can identify the difference between that and who you are. And I relate to that stillness. We stay connected to who you are, that Christ inside, that Christ stillness that's different from the thoughts. And then the intranet, the connection with others. You know, we're not here to run errands. We're here to connect, to learn from each other, to grow. That's what we're here for. And then lastly, being available for guidance and hearing that inner voice as we dance lightly with life's challenges and just always stay on God's Wi-Fi. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. We are so grateful for your powerful message and the opportunity to really think into and open ourselves to those different ways of connecting on Wi-Fi, because it's very powerful. This is a time, I don't know, with Reverend Curdy, would you like to say something about, or you want me to do it? Okay, is that, we have been working on this pledge drive, and I just really want to honor and acknowledge that we have received some of your pledges, and we appreciate whether they're done anonymously to yourself, because we realize the first important pledge is a commitment to live the 5 unity principles. When we make a commitment, the universe supports us and flows through us in huge ways. And committing to live these principles transforms our lives. So it is such a powerful thing to make that commitment. We thank you for those that have said yes to committing to living those 5 principles. And then whether you anonymously commit to give a percentage of your income to Unity Bay Area Houston. We honor that again, you're making a commitment. Whether you share that amount with us is less important than the fact that you're making a commitment to yourself and your divine. And so I want to just acknowledge, we do have, if you've not been a part of our commitment program and would like to be, we have commitment cards under some of the chairs and pens, and you can fill those out and turn them in to myself or Reverend Curdy. And we are very grateful because we recognize that what we're doing is we're moving the energy of our commitments to Unity Bay Area Houston to lift this ministry into its next rendition. And we are grateful because we know that those commitments truly make a difference. So thank you for that. And now it's time to take our offerings and our blessings, which we also thank you for. Whether you give here, you give online, in whatever way, and let's share our offering blessing together over these. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is. And our ushers will come around with our offering baskets, and thank you for your gifts.
Whoops.
Everybody awake?
All right. I'll just play right here. So in the talk I mentioned, are you ready to take your power back? Yes. The power of following that north arrow of joy, to really be aligned with who you are. And the song is called Take Your Power Back. I know you remember, there are times in your life when you've walked in a gentle state of grace, and all your problems and all your beliefs were erased by a sweet smile on your face. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more. You can't keep giving your own power away to anybody or thing that comes along. It's up to you now to do or say what it takes to keep your center strong. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more. Sing with me. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more. Even more, even more, even more. You can't keep giving your own power away to anybody. Oh, that's not the verse. Here it goes. There's no use trying to get by it. You can't bypass this place in the road. Your mind will tell you you can live like this, but your heart can't, and it's about to explode. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more, have even more, have even more. Thank you. Can I make a quick announcement?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know how many mics I need, but
that mic.
no,
No,
probably
go ahead.
not. I know Kira mentioned my CDs back there. I have a little bit more to mention. If you want to take some of this energy home with you, I'm happy to support you, and you can support me. We'll all support each other. I also have something new, and this is all 18 of my albums on a thumb drive for $30. So
Wow,
if you want
that's
to
a
just get
deal.
everything I've recorded, there's some piano music, some children's music. That's a lot of fun. My latest CD, which I didn't have last time I was here. And there's love all around you. Are you ready to soak it in?
Yeah.
And I have these new little beanies that you can wear now that's getting colder. It says soak in the love. So there's something fun if you're interested in that too. It's great for a bad hair day, so I'll be back there. And thank you very much.
We love it. Thank you, Charley Thweatt. What a gift. So glad to have you back with us. And now it is time for us to bless our offerings. And we want to say thank you to those of you that have given online in all the many ways, text to give, all of that. But let us all together share this celebration together with our words and our commitment together. We celebrate divine abundance. We gratefully live, breathe, and experience abundance and generosity. Thank you, God, for the flow of resources through our ministry to bless the world. We rejoice as all our prayers are answered. We are grateful, blessed, and prosperous. Yes, we are, and we say thank you, God. And so at this time, we do want to acknowledge that we have a new tree out in the hallway, and there's leaves in the gathering room for you to write the things that you're grateful for. This is something our kids are doing each week until Thanksgiving. They'll be adding leaves to the tree. We invite each of you to each week add something, add a word or two to a leaf and put it up on the tree. We want to fill that tree with the statement of our gratitude and all the things that we are grateful for, because we have much to be grateful for. for. So let us celebrate this month of gratefulness together. And now it is time for us to move into our closing. I think, Charlie? Oh, yeah. We have the meeting starting in 15 minutes. So we will be back here both online and in Zoom, and love to have you join us in any way. We will be checking off the members because everyone is welcome to this meeting, and the members will be voting. And so if you've been a member at any time from 2019 and forward, you are still considered a member at this time. So we love to have you come and join us in this vote and be a participant in this with us. So we are grateful, and we'll be starting that in 15 minutes. All right, so you have a few minutes to get, I think there's some protein bars out there, and we have Charlie's CDs, and let's do a closing song together now. Will you rise, and let's just close this service.
Is it Ellen or Helen? Ellen?
Ellen.
Ellen decided we should close it as we opened it, so here we go again. You see your way clear, one step at a time. Just know that you're here. Just know that you're here for the love in your life. You see your way clear, one step at a time. Just know that you're here for the love in your life. 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 I see my way clear, one step at a time. Just know that I'm here. Just know that I'm here for the love in my life. I see my way clear, one step at a time. Just know that I'm here for the love in my life. 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 We see our way. We see our way clear, one step at a time. Just know that we're here. Just know that we're here for the love in our lives. We see our way clear, one step at a time. Just know that we're here for the love in our lives. 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 For the love in our lives.
Let's share our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. God bless you all. Have a fabulous week, and we'll see you back here for the meeting in a few minutes. Thank you. Oh, yeah.